Hi guys, welcome to _Echoesofcarmen episode number 3. Thank you so much for all of the support and the attention that you guys have been giving me and all of your stories as well. Please send me more. Please send more. Alrighty, so welcome everybody. I hope you guys had a nice weekend. Alrighty, so story number one. Story number one. It's called Peace in the Middle of an Emergency, and it's from an anonymous. My parents and my brother passed away a few years back, around the time when we were having the COVID pandemic. I felt very lonely, but thankfully I had friends and family who helped me to feel supported through the losses I've had in the difficult times. 3 years ago, my husband and I moved to another state within the States. Having to start from zero, making new friendships, starting our first business from zero also, and slowly building another community and friends to share life with. In the beginning, it was a little hard, I'm not gonna lie, but things started to get better once I started connecting with God on a deeper level. Our families live in the other countries, so sadly, we were alone in this one, so we rely on each other for absolutely everything. Today, it's almost been a year since we moved to another city within the new state. So making new friends has been a little difficult since we're married and in our 20s. My husband has had a kidney stone for a few years now. I remember once one of the doctors recommended us to have it removed with surgery. But for a reason, I cannot remember why we didn't do it. A few weeks ago, I was thinking about making an appointment for a surgery and seeing the estimates the hospitals will provide us with, since he will get sick from time to time for a day or two, make him stay in bed because of the pain. 2 weeks ago, he got very, 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 very sick while we were celebrating his birthday. I took him to a private clinic since taking him to an emergency room in a hospital just filled me with fear and anxiety of losing him, because they wouldn't treat him on time, and he's my only nearby family, my person. I would never risk losing him. When we arrived at the hospital, they took a little while to even check on us, and I was growing a bit desperate. I started thinking about demanding them to start giving us the attention that I thought we deserved. I took a minute to relax before talking to them and realized a little prayer saying, Holy Spirit, please help me and put your hand over this situation and over my husband. Please help us. When I went to the desk to talk to the nurse, she was super sweet and attentive. She spoke Spanish too, so I started feeling a little more comfortable. When the doctor called us in to check on my husband, he started being super attentive and caring as well. He was Mexican as well, like me. So right away, I felt calmer. He gave my husband only pain medication, but decided to have him spend the night at the clinic just in case he got worse. But said it will all go away with him having more liquids. There is no need for surgery anymore. After a whole week of rest and liquids, the kidney stone came out by itself, and I remember being so grateful in a way I haven't been in a while. The situation helped me realize the reality I live on. One of them was that when you marry, your spouse should become your best friend, life partner, business partner, your main inversion, your family, your love, and your lover. It was a scary situation to live, but it also helped me realize we are not as alone as I thought. My new community were attentive, giving me words of comfort. The nurses and the doctor treating us so well, and them being so caring and attentive to our needs, which in my opinion I haven't experienced in the States until now. And the most important of them all is how much your life gets better once you start connecting with Him, with God. That it's possible to have peace in the middle of the storm with Him. If this would have happened about 3 years ago, I have no idea how I would have navigated in a better way than how everything happened. I was able to experience the blessing of recognizing the good things in our lives and seeing how pretty life becomes when you start smiling at it, being thankful for the blessings and counting them. I think it's very nice to like recognize here that life is a mirror and that if you smile at it, it will smile back at you, or for the very least, at least treat you a little better. But if you're bringing complaints and constant tantrums, you know, like always complaining, that's what you will receive in return. Or like when you are in a bad mood, that's how people are gonna be like, what is your problem? Like, don't even talk to me like that, you know? This is really pretty. Yeah, definitely life is a mirror. And I think it's very cute how like she also said how I think now with our generation it's very hard to put our spouses first or to respect them in a way that maybe it's like a little outdated because, you know, everybody's just more free. But yeah, like when you marry, that's your person, that's who should be the main priority of your life and whom you need to care what they think instead of other people. I feel like you always have to put them first on everything. Well, of course, God first and then your spouse. But yeah, very, very wise words. And yes, communities, they do change everything, to be honest. I think they're very helpful. It's very helpful to have a community. I've been moving for quite a while, almost every year, and it's very nice to have the group of friends that will help you out, or just to like people that will speak words of encouragement or comfort into your life. So definitely, I agree with this, Anonymous. But overall, yes. If you start counting your blessings, they start to appear. And you become more positive too. It's a life-changing habit to have. Alrighty, story number 2. It's called The Blessing of Having Good Teachers. Angelica from Sonora. When I was in 1st grade, about 50 years ago, I had a teacher whose name was Daniel. He was a serious person but very caring about the kids. At school, I used to get boring because the teachings would not keep me interested. So I started falling asleep in the middle of the class, and by the time I realized about this, I had decided that it would be best for me to be outside and walk around the school to stay awake. So I walked towards the door, but the teacher was like, "Hey, where are you going?" To which I said, "To the restroom, why?" He answered, Angelica, you need to ask me if you can go to the restroom whenever you want to go." And I said, "Really? You're not going to let me go?" He answered, "Of course, I will, but you need to ask me first." To which I said, teacher, I already knew you were going to say yes, but okay, I understand." And that's what I used to do all the time. I will ask for permission to use the restroom and I will walk into the fields. If the teacher asked me something, I would just tell him he can see where I am by the door. Do not worry. Do not worry. One day, another teacher saw me walking around outside the classroom and asked, "Hey, you little girl, what are you doing?" And I responded, "I'm walking, can you see?" But the teacher, Daniel, came to the rescue and said, "Rosie, it's okay. I asked her to go for a little walk." That's how I went for a couple months, since the teacher knew I just couldn't concentrate in the classroom or in what he was teaching. But since I was always doing my homework, he was okay with me not paying attention in the classroom. But everything was about to change for something I did. One day, the teachers were having a meeting in the teacher's lounge, and me, being me, that it was gonna be okay if I took a few of my classmates out to play with me. We were outside playing and making so much noise. When the teacher noticed what was going on, he instantly got all of us together and started hitting us. Yes, back in the day, it was when teachers were allowed to hit the kids in the classroom. So he got every one of us and hit us. He left me at the end and took me apart where others wouldn't see us. And then he told me to pretend that he hit me and to start crying. But he didn't hit me. He hit himself so hard, it made such a loud noise, I started crying. For the rest of that day, I stayed in the classroom without being able to stop crying. At the end of the day, the teacher just asked me, "Angelica, I didn't hit you. Why are you still crying?" And I said, "Because you truly care about me. You hit yourself to spare me the pain. I promise I will behave from now on." He then proceeded explaining to me why he did it. Because the other kids know that that's not right, and yet they did it. "I know you're going for walks. It's not because you're rebellious or coming from a bad place. I know you genuinely can't pay attention in class, and that's why I try to let you be yourself. But now I got in trouble, and I don't want you to get in trouble too. Even if you fall asleep in the classroom during the teachings, just stay in. If you're bored, you'll have to make it through, because usually other teachers, when they meet kids like you, they label them as trouble and problematic. I don't want that for you. You have good intentions and are very smart, but you're different than the rest of your classmates. I don't want others to put you in those labels because I know that's not who you are, but very few grown-ups will ever understand it. I need you to grow in discipline before the year ends so your future teachers think good about you and your behavior." The years pass and we keep seeing each other around for the rest of the elementary school. He always gave me such a good advice throughout the years. He always treated me with so much respect and care. I used to see him as a brother or an uncle. He helped me to be a better person, to help others, and added values to my life. If I am who I am today, has a lot to do because of all the help he gave me growing up. I had really good teachers when I was little too. Honestly, I wouldn't be the person who I am if I didn't have the support of my teachers growing up, because I struggle with staying still when I was in school. But like this person, I always had a good grade, so I was able to get away with it for the most part. But yeah, no, my teachers were, honestly, they're such an incredible people. Of course, there's always gonna be bad teachers too, but the good ones are the ones that truly make the difference. And honestly, I cannot say how thankful I am for all of the people I had, especially in my elementary school. From there, but yeah, especially in my elementary school. Thank you so much for all the time and love that you guys give without expecting nothing in return. It's crazy. I did a little note here for the teachers, and it says, "Thank you for the infinite love, constant dedication that teachers have towards their kids, for the massive patience towards the neighbor, and the infinite support they bring to their classrooms to help us shape who we become." Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate all the efforts that you guys do. Okay, number 3. The importance of having a present dad. It's anonymous. When I started the 3rd grade, I had a friend whose name is Gaston. He was an orphan, but was living with an elderly aunt. They used to bully him because he was an orphan, but he never let that bother him and always defended himself against the other kids. Gaston and I became friends because he started fighting me, so I fought back. But none of us was winning, so a lady intervened in the fight and started lecturing us. And to my surprise, the both of us started yelling at the same time the same thing. "Oh, lady, don't be noisy. Now I'll never know who was going to win." And we started laughing as soon as we realized what just had happened. And since that event, we were best friends. In one occasion, he was defending himself, but he got caught by our teacher. And the teacher, instead of doing something about the bullying, she decided to expel Gaston from school, yelling at him, "You're so annoying. You're such a bother. Get out. You're no longer welcome at school. You're expelled." To which I tried to confront her, telling her, "Why would you do that? Is it because you know his aunt won't fight it? He was only defending himself. You're an evil teacher." She responded, "Do you think I'm evil?" And I said, "Yes, you are, very much so." So she responded, "I will teach you what evil is." The teacher started punishing me for anything and everything after that confrontation. She would let other kids hit me and bully me. I wasn't able to participate in the classroom, and she would always take my recess time away, just to show me how truly evil she was. A kid named Nora just sharpened her pencil, and those times we would do erasers to do it, so the tip of the pencil was very deep. She looked at me, showing me how sharpened and deep the pencil was, with a mischievous laugh. And then, boom, she put it in my arm. I just felt the little vein in my arm did a little pop inside me. I told the teacher, and her response was, "Oh yeah? She did that? I don't care. She can take away your guts and I will care even less." Oh my God, the things that older people went through. Jesus, that's wild. I'm so glad I was born in the generation I was born. That's wild. I feel for this person. Nora, you're a bad person. I hope you change. Nora sharpened her pencil again and did the exact same thing she had just done before. When she jumped to put the pencil on my arm again, I hit her so bad she ended up out of her seat and crashing against the wall. Good. Well, violence shouldn't be our first option, but good. We always yeah. Okay. The teacher then proceeded to my seat and tried hitting me in my arms with the ruler. But I moved them. I moved my arms. And then she tried hitting me in my hands, but I also moved them. Lastly, on my fingers. But once again, she wasn't successful. She became so angry that she started yelling and threw herself against me. But I got so scared, I kicked her. So she got even more mad and decided to expel me just like she has done with Gaston. But I didn't stay quiet, so I told her I will be back with my parents because they will defend me. She just laughed like a maniac. Oh. When I got home, when I got home with all of the blood dried all over my arm, I once cut my finger and I didn't notice. It was like right here. And I didn't notice, so all of my arm was full of blood, and I remember like feeling warmer than I was. And I was like, "What's going on?" It was while we were playing hide and seek. I was like, "What's going on?" And then I look into my arm, and I remember I was like, "Oh my God," because it was full. So I can't even imagine this girl because it was like around here. Oh no. Okay. When I got home with all of the blood dried all over my arm, showing and telling my dad what had happened and explaining to him that my situation had increased. We had talked about it before. My dad asked me, "And are you sure you haven't done anything for this to take place?" I told him, "No, I swear. Besides me confronting the teacher about Gaston, I haven't done anything about this. On the contrary, the kids bully me and she lets them because she enjoys it." He said, "Okay. Let me ask for the day off of my job. We'll fix this." The next day, we arrived to the principal's office and my dad demanded to have a meeting with this teacher. She tried to kick me out of the room so they could talk, but my father interrupted her and said, "She's not going anywhere. The problem is with her, so she will stay here." He continued by telling her, "She's already told me her version of the story. Now I need yours." The teacher started, and I would just say yes or no to what she will say, and I will say if it was true or not. But since my dad knew I didn't lie, he trusted me about it. After a long talk, my dad told her, "Look, I know your husband, and we hang out together from time to time. But if you continue to mistreat my child, I will beat him and you alike. I will forget that you are a woman, and I'll forget that he's my friend. Just as I've taught my daughter to defend herself, I've also taught her to respect her elders. So if I know that you provoke her to defend herself at any given time, I will do just what I said. So you better learn to respect her as well." Everything got better after this. No more bullying and no more turning the blind side to injustices in the classroom. That day clicked for me. How important it is for parents to be there for your kids and to defend them when injustice arises in life. I did a quick explanation in the one in Spanish about how my dad didn't do. This girl was like trying to fight me for like a whole month, and then when we finally fought, I was the one that got suspended from school, and I got punished at home. My dad never asked me what happened. He was just like, "Nah, you're punished. You're such a bad girl." And I was like, ugh. But I didn't share as a, later on I was like, oh my God, that's not like talking bad about my dad. But anyways, it's not me talking bad about him. It's very nice to have this story to kind of like look upon, and be like, oh, okay, so kind of like meditate on things. But yeah, please, parents, be there for your kids. It's very needed. Like she said, like if parents don't arise when injustices happen, your kids are alone, man. Like I don't think nobody else will care more than you for your kids. There might be people, but you should be there. I'm not in that phase of the life yet. Hopefully, eventually, in a little bit more. But yeah, just be attentive to your kids. Talk to them, be a present dad. Like talk to them, make sure you conversate with them, what is going on in their life. And if needed, defend them at all cost. Definitely. This is so cute. Number 4. When we know better, we act better. And it's anonymous. One day, my dad gifted me a bag for my colors. It was a little bigger than the other ones I had, so even with the new colors he got me, it was only halfway full, and I wanted to make it fuller so it would look prettier. When it occurred to me that if I took one color from each one of my classmates, it will be even and therefore fair for everybody. I saw it as a win-win situation after all. I thought, they would notice one of their colors is missing. So throughout the week, little by little, my classmates started to notice their one color was missing. Until one girl finally put everything together and realized I had them all. Smart kid. The kids started telling me I was a thief and calling me names. By the time the teacher noticed what was going on, she asked me what it was that I had stolen, instead of asking me what was actually going on and why I did it. She also called me a thief, adding more wood into the fire for my classmates. I started yelling at them that I wasn't a thief and that I didn't know that I was stealing. I started crying and gave all of their colors back, and they even took some that were mine, pretending they were theirs. But I didn't say anything because I just wanted them to stop. Weeks passed, and the kids kept calling me a thief and other names along the line. And one evening, I was on my block playing with some of my neighbors when one of my classmates passed by with some other kids and started yelling at me those names. One of the neighborhood moms came out and asked me why they were calling me that. Everybody in the neighborhood knew me, and they knew I was an honest child. So I told her what I did and what happened, and that I also returned each of the colors to everybody. She then told me, she then told me, I want you to defend yourself when they start calling you that, by telling them, thieves don't return what they have stolen. And I did, so it doesn't make me one. And keep on telling them that each time they call you names. After a few weeks of me doing that, they calmed down and stopped calling me names. But since that time, I usually ask a person of two for advice on things, just so I know how to make better decisions. This reminds me there is a Proverbs in the Bible that it says, where there is no guidance, people fall. But in the abundance of counselors, there is safety. I remember I grew up kind of lonely. So I remember I used to read this Bible, maybe since I was little, this verse. And I remember thinking yeah, right, how are they even gonna know better? But that's just me being sober when I was little. And then the older that I get, the more sense that it starts to make. And honestly, after seeing this story, it really does make a lot of sense, We do need the community, like I said. We need community to put us in check, or just simply to have more people to guide us, because sometimes we only see things from one perspective without knowing that things can be looked from here, or from the other side, and it will give you a whole different image, So definitely, where there is no guidance, people fall. But in abundance of counselors, there is safety. Definitely. Also, I want to share this because something similar happened to me when I was little. It will be fast. When I was little, my mom and I were in the market. Yeah, we were in the market. We were buying. She was buying. I don't even remember. We were buying stuff. And then I told her, oh, Mom, there used to be these chocolates in Mexico that were called Carlos Victor, or Carlos something. I think they sell them in the States too, I'm not sure. Anyway, so it was this little tiny thing like this. And then I was like, oh, Mom, can you give me a Carlos Victor? And then she was like, no, not right now. I don't remember if she said because we didn't have money or because I haven't eaten. But I remember I was like, come on, Mom, I can just eat it later. And then she was like, no, understand, I'm not gonna buy it. So I was like, okay. Then silly me, when she was paying attention to the register, I was like, wow, she's not looking. Let me just put it on my little pocket of a 4-year-old. So I got it and I put it on my pocket. And then, excuse me. And then my mom paid for the groceries that we got or whatever we got. I don't remember. And then we started walking towards the door. And then my mom, I had already opened my Carlos Victor, and then I had oh my God. And then I was about to bite it. And my mom was like, from where you got that? I was like, oh, you just paid for it. Me trying to lie to my mom. She was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, you paid for it. She was like, I didn't. I was like, man. And then I was like, oh, really? Well, I think you paid for it. I don't know. And she was like, Carmelita, you stole it, right? And I was like, no. I never heard of that before. So I was like, no, I just took it. And she was like, you stole it. And I was like, okay, can I eat it now? And she was like, no, now. Hey, to the guard. She called the guard, the security guard, the policeman. So she was like, hey, policeman, come over here. My daughter just stole something. Come, take her to jail. And I was like, no, I was like, how dare you? How are you gonna snitch on your daughter and then put me in jail? And I remember I was like, no, I was so sad. I started crying. And then the guard, he started playing with her too. Like he followed along the lines. He was like, oh, he stole. Come on, little girl, you're going with me. You can't be doing those things. And then like he kind of like he put me in with his hand and like he was taking me away, and I was like, no. You see, parents, if your kids are being bad, you need to correct them. Going back to the other story, you need to correct them, okay? Don't nothing of like covering the sun with your finger or like doing stuff like that, or allowing your kid to be bad. There's always correction. Anyways, that happened, and ever since, honestly, I've never stolen anything because it gives me so much. I've cried like a couple times while I was little, and it gave me so much anxiety and so much fear for that to happen again. So I was like, no, I'll never steal again. So I haven't. Honestly, yeah. It was such a traumatic story for me, but it helped me to be the person that I am. It helped me to be a little more moral, I guess. Anyways, that's what happened. It was really funny. All right, so our last story, it's called I died, resuscitated, went into a coma for a few days, and then came back to life again. Anonymous. I'm currently living in Europe. One day, me and my friends went drinking, and since I already knew we were going to drink a lot, I decided not to drive and just take the taxi back home. The night ended and everybody was going home, but since I was really drunk, I got lazy to walk all the way to the gas station. So I decided to rent one of those electric scooters to get over there. I was going all serene, me and my scooter, when I suddenly fell into one of the batches that are here. I flew away, and my head landed on the side of the sidewalk, fracturing my skull and parts of my face as well. Also, the sidewalks in Europe, they're not like smooth like they are like in America, you know, like pavimented. They have the pavimentation. They are pavimented, but they also have rocks on it, so it's like more, a little bit like all over, right? It's not like a flat. Like it is flat, but like not even. Whatever, it's just rocks with pavement all over. Oh, this poor guy. Where was I? Oh yeah, that's when I died for a few seconds, then got resuscitated when the paramedics arrived at the scene. At the hospital, they instantly started operating on me to avoid any damage to become even bigger. Ooh. After surgery, I was in coma for almost a week. Thankfully, people I know had already contacted my family and flew them out here, so by the time I woke up, my family was already here to comfort me. The doctors kept on doing more surgeries on me after I woke up, mostly cosmetic surgery to repair my eye and some other parts of my face. I have a couple of metallic plates in a few different places and a few screws too. Maybe some loose ones. Just kidding. Before this accident, I already believed in God, but after this, I can only say I have learned to see life differently. I take things more serious, yet a little lighter. I don't let negative things move me away. I see more blessings and I count them more often. I keep good friendships and I always try to help others whenever it's needed and whenever I can. I learn to be better to myself and to those around me. I do know this person, and such a beautiful person. He's so amazing, honestly, like such a beautiful heart. He's a really good dude. Definitely. Well, that was everything for today. I will leave the links below, where you guys can send me more stories on my Gmail and then my Insta as well. Thank you so much for all the support, seriously, and thank you so much for your attention, for getting all the way over here, and I just hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your week. Thank you. Blessings to everybody. Bye.